guys, hope everybody is doing well. Ray here. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite amps, an amp that I've kind of held off for a little while on kind of talking through. I wanted to really get a chance to go through it and spend some time with the amp. This amp is the Mesa RA100, also known as the Royal Atlantic 100. It's a 100-watt amp, head version, 2-channel, but it's a bit of a unique amp in that I wouldn't say it's as heavy as, say, the rectifier series. I would say it's somewhat similar if you're familiar with the Mesa Boogie Stiletto to a certain degree. But one of the things I love most about this amp is a very forgiving type amp. And what I mean by that is if you've played a rectifier before, or you've played some amplifiers that can be a bit challenging to dial in. Even sometimes my PVs can be a little bit, I know that sounds funny, but the 6505, sometimes I have a little bit of trouble finding that right tone. With the Royal Atlantic 100, it's got to be one of the most forgiving amps in that it's hard to find a bad tone. I really dig this amp for cleans to kind of a light rock all the way up to the harder metal kind of stuff. Again, I wouldn't say it has that super bottom end, say like a rectifier does, but it does have a great tone to it. And again, hard to find a bad tone with this amp. It has again, it's 2-channel, but it's got kind of those 3 different setting types. It's got a clean setting, which is a very pristine, wonderful clean, and we'll play some stuff here in a minute to give you a little demo on that. But then over here, it's got the two settings, a lower gain setting and then a higher gain setting, which is going to be kind of the heavier stuff. Lower gain is going to be some kind of a more classic rock, almost to a bit of a harder rock kind of sound. Very cool amp. One of the things I love about this amp is that it has this power soak, multi-soak feature. So on the back, for each of the 3 different areas, if you want your clean, your kind of lighter rock to the heavy set, you can adjust the soak range, which is like an attenuation that you can adjust for each different channel there. So it's very cool. What you can then do is push your power section a bit heavier, saturating the tubes and getting a little bit more of that breakup without having to really crank your volume. Very cool feature. Right off the bat right here, one of the also cool features, you can switch between 50 and 100 watt. So if you don't want to engage your multi-soak, turn that on or off, you can just set your 50 or 100 watt. I go back and forth to try different variations. It's not a huge difference, to be honest with you, with that at lower volumes. So again, across the board, you've got your clean section here to master, bass, middle, treble, and gain. And then over here is a shared section between your lower and higher gain areas. So they're kind of a shared process. So you have your master high and master low, so different volumes for each, but they will share the EQ section, bass, middle, treble, and gain. So here I've got it set on the high. It's got a foot switch. This does have a loop section on it. It has a natural power setting reverb that you can adjust as well, which is very cool. On the back it has tons of different features, which we'll go over in a little bit. Another very cool feature of this amp is the ability to switch between a bias EL34 and 6L6 tubes. So many of you know the differences. Your EL34 they call is a little more of your British, where 6L6 is going to be a bit more of the American, if you will. I'll be honest with you, I've tried both tubes in this. Unless you're really cranking the volume and really saturating the tubes, I can't hear a huge difference. I've tried both before, and it's not as noticeable to me. I'd say the cleans are a little bit different. The EL34s for me just seem to break up a bit earlier, and I think it gives me that sound. Now, I would like to try the 6L6s a bit more with some of the more modern stuff. Some people say that they prefer that, so I want to give that another attempt before I totally just stick with my EL34s. But what's really nice is it's a simple little switch. Put your tubes in, make sure that your switch is set to either the 34s or the 606, and you're good to go. Again, a very cool amp that I use for all of my recordings. It does everything, again, is from cleans to good crunch tones. It works very well. I said before, it's extremely forgiving, and it's a great amp for putting a pedal in front of it. I'll use a tube screamer a lot, and I don't ever seem to go into that flubby range or too much. It seems, again, to have that really wide range of usability. So again, great with lead work. It blends well. You know, as some of you may know, I like to mix different amps and guitars in my different songs that I'm writing. And it blends well with both my Marshalls, it blends well with PV, it blends well with different, I like to use it a lot with the rectifiers and even the 6505s. Just a great all-around amp. So I'm going to play some different settings here so you can hear it on a clean. Play the kind of the lower gain setting, the higher gain setting, and then we'll put it in a mix so you can hear one of the songs I'm working on to hear how it sits within the mix.